I was in year 1 when TED Talks first started. You guys can Google the date on that one. I can't even begin to express how thrilled and honored I feel being able to be part of a TEDx event, being invited and acknowledged that my ideas are worth spreading. I've always wanted to say that in a real TED Talk setting, and that some of you whom are here with us today virtually would actually like to hear what I have to say. I guess talking to Hubs about my ideas till he falls asleep has indeed been worthwhile. I'm a person that genuinely likes talking to people. I'm very fascinated, when I listen to people talking, learning about their extraordinary experiences and journey, because truly everyone has a story. How we walk our journey with our circumstances does shape who we become. Hence, I try to understand and learn why people behave, act, or think a certain way. It really helps me to learn about myself and helps me to heal at the same time too. It has been 8 years since my diagnosis. It has been such a long, hard, but very fulfilling and meaningful journey. Living with a mental health disorder has given me a different outlook on life. I look at it from a different lens altogether, having empathy and compassion, a gift I always say that God has gifted me together with this condition. If anyone were to ask me about mental health prior to my diagnosis, I would most probably concur to the many myths that we hear and often portrayed inaccurately in the media. From movies to films, dramas, music videos, songs, often stereotype people like me being dangerous, violent, or unpredictable, weak-willed, and many more, in contrary to the depth of the experience and challenges that we go through as human beings, negating the truth that people like us do recover. Many recover, lead quality lives, become successful too. So hence, it deeply reinforces stigma and these negative perceptions of society. But I wasn't always this way. Once upon a time ago, I thought I was invincible. I had everything going on for me. I was doing well in my career, doing my MBA. I had 2 beautiful children. I had a very supportive husband. I was traveling the world with them, and I was in the best of health. At least I thought I was. So thinking back, as a kid, I got anxious a lot. Little things would seem unsurmountable to me, and I would worry a lot. Although I did well in school, I had a lot of friends, I was a very active child, these thoughts would constantly haunt me. I still remember how and when I started having conflicting thoughts, values, and I always wondered why I was different. Although this wasn't something that you could tell from how I carried myself or portrayed myself to others. I had big questions and I didn't have answers to it. But being a kid, obviously I could brush it all aside. I didn't feel comfortable talking to my parents or expressing these difficult or challenging thoughts that I had, nor did I know it wasn't normal. When I started working in the US, this was when my panic attacks started happening due to the much trauma, stress that I also experienced as I was growing up, in working, etc. So it slowly caught up and I could no longer brush it off. So when I came back to Malaysia, this was when I started experiencing panic attacks. And again, until, one day 8 years ago, I could no longer manage, overcome it anymore. And when I was first diagnosed, I was very lost and confused about what I was experiencing. I didn't know how or where to seek for help. I didn't know of anyone who had the condition. And I obviously didn't know that mental health challenges could really cripple you if you didn't receive the necessary treatment or help and support required. And I'm a person who would never ask for help. I felt really embarrassed and I would feel really weak to do so. Even with my own family. And so when I came back to Malaysia, as mentioned, working, doing my MBA, I had 2 little children that of course required a lot from me, my commitment, my attention, energy, so it took a toll. I became overwhelmed, but continued hustling due to my perfectionism and ego that I had. I wanted to succeed, I wanted to achieve all the KPIs given, hence I forgot to take care of myself. Because the thing is, when you're young, obviously, you think you're invincible. You feel strong. You rarely fall sick. And so you keep pushing. And I kept telling myself I could handle it. But of course, eventually, my body and my brain collapsed. I didn't get enough rest. I didn't get enough sleep. I wasn't taking care of myself. And so when it happened, obviously it hit me like a tornado and I crumbled. I lost functionality in life, feeling that there was no way out. I fell into this really deep and dark hole. I felt disconnected. I felt empty. I felt isolated and alone. I was crying a lot as well. I felt really trapped in these thoughts that I had, and I felt hopeless in my recovery. I didn't understand it, and I really didn't know what to do. I could no longer take care of my kids, nor my husband, or my house. I couldn't work, couldn't drive, couldn't see other people. I became afraid of everything, and I also couldn't be alone, even in my own house. My panic cycles, let me tell you, it was vicious. On some days, even breathing became very difficult. So to sum it up, I felt very defeated. After everything, here I was feeling crippled by my own anxiety, by my own fear and panic. It is as if your brain, it tries to kill you. I remember pushing everyone away, especially my kids. I was so embarrassed about my condition. I felt like a burden to everyone. I felt guilty for not being able to function, not being able to contribute, and felt hopeless, trapped with excruciating psychological pain. Every day felt like a slow and painful death. And even though I have shared my story many times, I can't give enough justice to how challenging it truly is. Although, obviously, any mental health disorder, you can recover from it. So that's always the message of hope. But, reflecting back, one day as I was sitting at my usual spot in the house, so I have this spot that I usually, I guess, felt safest. It suddenly hit me why people end their lives. It gives you like a sense of comfort because that, that the pain can end. It will end. And it shocked me that I could relate to this. And I immediately went upstairs to pray due to desperation, and I told God, I said, I know that you have promised us that you will not give us or test us beyond our bear, but at this current moment, I can't bear it. Hence, I beg you to please grant me patience and show me a way out. And this was how I learned to finally surrender myself completely to God, for the first time in my entire existence. I pulled everyone closer to me again. I stopped questioning my condition, but rather I embraced it. This was when eventually the anger kicked in. And that was when I felt powerful. I regained strength. I, found strength through my kids, my husband, my mom. That was how I finally found my willpower and strength to fight this condition and beat it. And if I may reflect, having a mental health disorder is something I have to say is the hardest thing that I've ever gone through in my life, hands down. But crossing over to recovery is even harder. Through my rock bottoms and experience in this journey to finally finding my willpower and strength through surrendering to God, seeking knowledge, getting treatment, having the support, I finally could then stand on my own 2 feet. But again, it's a long road. It's a hard road. But the most important thing is don't give up. I finally understood the lessons that I had to learn and realizing that without Him, I was nothing and I was completely at God's mercy. And this journey has taught me not to take life for granted anymore, and never in a million years did I imagine I could regain normal functioning. What more to lead quality life? It has been such a surreal journey for me. And with this whole condition, being in this pandemic hit, I feel truly blessed that it didn't happen while such challenges was inflicted as well, because this is truly a very challenging time for everyone. And so due to crossing over to recovery, getting to that point, my husband was the one that suggested for me to go public with my condition. As we know, many of us are aware, stigma continues to be the biggest barrier to mental health. But because of this pandemic hit, we are now able to normalize the discussion surrounding mental health, taking away the shame, the fear, the stigma. surrounding mental health disorders. So that's one of the positive things that has happened, the silver lining, I have to say, and I say this a lot. And so when I formed my NGO, which is our NGO, the Mental Health Mental Health Advocacy and Peer Support Group in 2017, I really wanted a place where people that are going through mental health challenges felt supported, had a place to go, felt empowered, feel that there is actually a safe space, a sense of belonging in that sense, and with hopes and aspiration for change together. And so via this platform, this is one of the things that has made it grow so much, because of everyone coming together collectively, feeling empowered together, helping one another, making ourselves feel useful. And it's all in all a very healing process. And one of the things that I've come to realize during my struggles is knowing that someone out there is struggling too makes this world less lonely, and it provides you a lot of hope and a way out. And so it is enough to make you hold on, work through your issues, work through your pain and struggles, even if some days it might feel unbearable. And as we know, last year the world has changed immensely. It has, this pandemic hit has impacted the mental health of many. The challenges are multifold and manyfold, but despite these challenges, again, there's a silver lining to it. And I truly hope that we can all come together, even via this TEDx event. We're now able to share, able to talk to the public. People feel encouraged to reach out for the help. Increased mental health literacy. In this way, no one will be left behind. And this is truly my hope. But if I may lend some lessons that I've learned along this journey, and truly I always end it with a message of hope, and I am doing the same thing right now, which is those of you that are struggling with any kind of mental health disorder, mental health issues, mental health struggles, please know that you're not alone. Please know that you can recover. I am a living proof with the thousands of people out there. Don't allow stigma to silence you. Don't allow it to rob you from your recovery and your life. You can thrive in this journey with your mental health condition just like anyone else. It will come at your own time and at your own pace. To be honest, there are limitations, but with these limitations, God has replaced it with extraordinary empathy, compassion, love for humankind, and the realization, for me, that without Him, I have no power. And I can tell you, truth be told, if it wasn't because of this affliction, right? God inflicting me with this condition, I don't think I would be doing what I'm doing today. So I am forever, truly thankful. And one of the things, that I can share is desperation is something that I know all too well. I know that you might feel like you're drowning at times, but if you trust me, if you can trust me on this, please hang on. Hang on to something, find your anchor, find one person to help you go through this life, because there is always hope. Always, even when the path seems dark and you feel like giving up. It does, and it will feel or be tiring, because it takes so much from us, and your brain will constantly try to trick you, making you believe otherwise. Don't and never let it have control. Take your power back and never give up. Every time you fall, get back up and fight even harder. You got this. I believe in you. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Take care and stay safe.